My ex-wife Sarah walked into our divorce hearing visibly pregnant, thinking it would guarantee her a big settlement. She was wrong. One question from the judge unraveled her entire plan. Have you ever seen someone destroy their own case in real time? That's exactly what Sarah did. I should have expected her to try something dramatic. The divorce process had been a nightmare. Constant delays, emotional outbursts, and pointless legal filings just to make my life miserable. If she'd put half as much effort into our marriage as she did into tormenting me, we might not have been in that courtroom. But when she showed up pregnant, I nearly laughed. Not because I thought the child was mine. I knew it wasn't. It was clear she was plotting something straight out of a bad TV drama. Sarah was counting on the judge seeing a helpless pregnant woman and ignoring our prenup to award her a hefty payout. She thought she could play the sympathy card and walk away rich. I could almost hear her rehearsed speech. "Your Honor, I'm expecting a child and left with nothing. How will I manage?" She'd glance at me, expecting me to panic. But I don't crumble, and I don't lose. Sarah underestimated me. She thought I'd get nervous, maybe even settle to avoid looking heartless in court. But she didn't know I'd seen through her months ago. Sarah wasn't just terrible at being a wife, she was awful at lying, and she had no clue the judge's single question would demolish her entire scheme. She strutted into the courtroom, smug as ever, one hand resting on her belly, the other delicately tucking her hair back like she wasn't about to attempt legal fraud. She sighed dramatically as she sat, acting exhausted by the ordeal. I stayed calm. I didn't need to react. Unlike Sarah, I came prepared, and so did my lawyer, Michael. Michael was the kind of attorney who'd smile politely while dismantling you with the law. I wasn't a fan of lawyers, but after watching him counter Sarah's antics for months, I was glad he was in my corner. Sarah, on the other hand, had burned through 3 lawyers during the divorce. Her current one was a rookie, fresh from law school, probably eager for a big win. I almost pitied him. Almost. Sarah had pulled this kind of manipulation before. Not the pregnancy trick, but the fake victim act. She'd play the poor, struggling woman card, begging for sympathy. It worked on some people, even my own mother. A week before the hearing, Mom called me, exhausted. "Just settle," she urged. "You don't want this dragging on forever." I pinched my nose in frustration. "Mom, she's not getting a dime. We have a prenup." She pushed back. "She's pregnant. Can you live with that on your conscience?" I nearly lost it. "It's not my kid," I said. She hesitated. "Are you sure?" I wanted to laugh. "Mom, she cheated on me. Multiple times. I caught her." I paused. "If I thought this was my child, she wouldn't need to pull this stunt. I'd step up. That's the difference between us. She manipulates. I take responsibility." Mom went silent, then sighed. "I just don't want this to get uglier." It was already ugly, but I promised her I'd handle it. Back to the hearing. The judge entered, and Sarah's lawyer dove right into a sob story. "Your Honor, my client faces an impossible situation. Pregnant, jobless, and struggling due to this prolonged divorce." Sarah sniffled on cue. I didn't flinch. Michael waited calmly, letting her performance play out. Then he stood, composed and ready. "Your Honor, while we sympathize with Ms. Thompson's situation, we need to clarify a key point." He turned to Sarah's lawyer. "Who is the father of this child?" Sarah froze. I knew that question was coming. She didn't. She assumed the court wouldn't question her pregnancy, that she could waltz in, look pitiful, and leave with a check. But legally, her pregnancy only mattered if I was the father. Her lawyer stammered, "My client believes it's the petitioner's." I nearly laughed. "Believes?" Michael didn't miss a beat. "So there's no proof?" Sarah squirmed. The judge's eyes narrowed. "Ms. Thompson, have you done a paternity test?" Sarah's mouth opened, closed, then opened again. She was trapped. I just assumed," she mumbled. "Assumed," the judge repeated, unimpressed. "Is there any evidence the petitioner is the father?" Her lawyer looked mortified. Sarah paled. I leaned back, enjoying the moment. Michael was ready to end it. "Your Honor, we have strong evidence this child is not my client's." He presented photos from 2 months after our separation, showing Sarah on vacation with another man, holding hands, kissing, clearly involved. Then came the final blow. Medical records, subpoenaed by Michael, showing Sarah's first confirmed pregnancy test was months after we'd last been together. Sarah's face fell. Her lawyer stared at her, realizing she'd kept him in the dark. The judge sighed heavily. "Ms. Thompson, this court does not tolerate deception. Based on the evidence, there's no basis for financial support. The prenup stands. You will not receive alimony or additional compensation." Sarah gasped like she'd been slapped. "But Your Honor," the judge cut her off. "This hearing is over." She sat there, stunned as the reality sank in. She'd expected to cry, look pathetic, and walk away rich. Instead, she'd been exposed. Her lawyer avoided her gaze, probably regretting taking her case. Sarah gripped the table, desperate to salvage her plan. Then came the outburst. "This isn't fair," she cried, voice shrill. "I'm about to have a baby, and he just walks away." The judge rubbed his temples, done with her. "Ms. Thompson, this court bases decisions on evidence, not emotional appeals. Your pregnancy is irrelevant without established paternity, which the evidence disproves," Sarah snapped, turning to me. "You're really doing this to me? To your own child?" It was her last desperate play trying to cast doubt. The room went quiet. I smiled, slow and cold. "You want to do this, Sarah? Want to go on record claiming I'm the father? We can order a paternity test right now." Her face twitched. She had nothing, and she knew it. Everyone else did too. The judge didn't bother responding. He turned to the clerk. "Adjourned." The hearing was over, but Sarah's collapse wasn't. I walked out with Michael, my mom a few steps behind. I expected Sarah to slip away quietly, but she stormed after me, heels clicking, face flushed, hands trembling. "You're a monster," she hissed. "You let me sit there, humiliated." I turned, looking her over. "Sorry, Sarah. Which part humiliated you? Trying to scam the court or realizing I was 3 steps ahead?" Her jaw tightened. "You set me up." I smiled again. "No, sweetheart. You set yourself up. I just let you walk into it." She looked ready to lash out but turned to my mom instead. "You're okay with this? With what he did to me?" Mom hesitated, then crossed her arms. "I'm not okay with what you did to him. You fooled us once. Never again." Sarah's lip trembled. For a moment, I thought she might cry. Then she exploded. "I hope you rot!" she spat, stepping toward me like she wanted a fight. "Ms. Thompson." A stern voice stopped her. 2 court officers appeared in the hallway. "Come with us, please." Sarah froze. "What? Why?" One officer replied, "The judge has recommended an inquiry into potential perjury and fraud. You'll need to answer some questions." Her eyes widened. "Wait, no, that's not—" But they were already escorting her back to the courtroom. I exhaled slowly. Michael clapped my shoulder. "That was satisfying," I smirked. "Yeah, it was." Sarah was led away, and I didn't follow. She was no longer my problem. But I kept tabs. The judge wasn't just angry, he was making an example of her. Faking financial distress was bad. Manipulating the court was worse. Lying under oath? That's perjury. Her fraudulent claims sparked an investigation. The court didn't just deny her alimony, they hit her with fines for wasting their time. Her lawyer dropped her immediately. Her attempt to get government aid? Rejected since they also required paternity proof. And the final twist? Her new boyfriend left her. After Michael presented those vacation photos, the guy did the math and realized he wasn't the only one she'd been with. He started doubting he was the father too. I can only imagine that breakup. Months later, I got a text from an unknown number. "Sarah, I hope you're happy." I stared at it, then replied, "I am. Thanks for asking." Then I blocked her. She'd spent years trying to manipulate and drain me. Now she was alone, and for the first time in years, I was free.